The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, I'm Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We've got a great show today. Two of the best kickers in the country for the next 2 years in Louisiana and in the United States for the class of 223 and the class of 224. You're going to enjoy this show. We got two young men. One's from Bossier City and one is from Youngsville, Louisiana, right outside of Lafayette. Ascension Episcopal and Parkway are the two high schools that are with us today. We're going to introduce these two young men when we come back, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our show today.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. Check these helmets out. You've got Parkway right here. This is Aeron Burrell's helmet. We're going to introduce Aeron. And to the right is Ascension Episcopal's helmet, which is Peyton Woodring, who is a class of 223 senior. Number one ranked kicker in the country. Peyton, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
And Aeron, to my left. Burrell, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Kind of hard to reach over there, but we got it. First of all, guys, what is it like meeting for the first time today?
It's cool getting to meet the other top-ranked kicker in the country for the class below me.
Isn't that pretty neat?
Too. Yep.
And not just Louisiana, but the United States. Aeron, what do you think of meeting Peyton today?
Oh, it's awesome. I think it's really cool that I could meet somebody that's already committed to like a big SEC school, and all jokes aside, but it's in the same state as well. So.
Well, and then one's from South Louisiana, and you're from North Louisiana. We got both parts of the state. Your dads are here. Your guy that helps you, Marty Kent's here. Marty's going to join us in the next show. But Aeron, I want to start with you. You're only a junior. You're a class of 224 recruit. Just about everybody in the country knows who you are. You got this guy next to you who's a senior. You saw like he's committed to Georgia. We're going to talk to Peyton about that. But what are you learning about being a junior and watching your big senior class get recruited? And Jalen White is one of those guys. But what is it like going through this recruiting as a young kid?
What I would say is it's really a process, so you can't get caught up too much in social media and stuff like that. So like if you're talking to coaches and stuff like that, then you just have to wait your turn. And so you can't really try to rush something, because obviously if you try to rush it, it's not going to work. So basically you just be patient and stuff takes time.
Great, modest answer, man. Good answer there. Peyton, you're committed to Georgia. I know a lot of LSU fans like, oh, man. And then there's a lot of Georgia fans that are like, yeah. But Athens, Georgia, how did all this come about for you to commit to the University of Georgia? And you're the number one kicker in the 223 class in the country. This man is the number one kicker in the 224 class. But how did you come about with the Georgia commitment?
So I had taken a few visits during the spring to a few colleges, and during June I went and kicked at Georgia. So I opened up, it was like June 2nd, kicked at Georgia, ended up winning that camp, and they didn't know if they were going to offer me or not based on like scholarships. And then I went to Alabama and kicked for them, and Coach Saban offered me the day after. So then Georgia ended up offering me as well, and decided at the end of that week to go to Georgia.
Saban didn't always offer that quick.
No.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for Saban when he was here. I was a contract recruiter. before they had analysts. And now you guys meet all these analysts, right? There's like 50 of them at every college. But back 20 years ago, there was 10 staff members only. Y'all don't know that world. Y'all just know all these other staff guys that call you. But being committed, we got it seems like a whole year left in recruiting, right? Mm-hmm. And you're probably feeling it's like, wait a minute, when can I sign, right? December, and then there's February. But are you noticing a lot more schools wanting to trickle in since you got those big offers?
A few, but really, I've kind of shut them down. I'm good where I'm at, and I'm enjoying it. I'm ready to get to Athens.
Anybody did you grow up liking as a kid? I mean, prior to committing to Georgia?
I mean, I always cheered for LSU, but not really any specific school. I just liked watching football.
Okay. What about you, Aeron? You got a year left. By the way, you're Joe Cool about handling all this as a young guy. What are you learning from Peyton? I mean, he committed going into his senior year. I mean, enjoy it, right? Enjoy the process.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm not gonna list the schools that I've been talking to, but I've been talking to a couple of them, and so I just feel like whichever school I feel like is the best fit for me, then I'll let them know, and that's where I'll be.
We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna come back and talk more to these young men and learn more about Parkway and learn more about Ascension Episcopal. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. Keep forgetting to mention podcast, but go to YouTube, and if you like our show, subscribe, hit the subscribe button. It's free. We're growing. We're getting about 15 or 20 a week, which is really good for us. And then go to YouTube or go to wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Podbean. You can go to iHeartRadio. You can go to about 12 different media outlets to get our show. And you go to Louisiana Football Magazine's website, lafootballmagazine.com. Both these young men are in our magazine for Ascension Episcopal, Peyton, and also Parkway with Aeron. They're in our preview magazine that came out in August. And if you're watching the show, all these kids are in there for these two schools. Aeron, speaking of soccer, we talked about soccer in the break. Tell everybody about your soccer background. When did you start playing soccer?
So I first touched a soccer ball when I was around 4. And so my dad used to be my coach growing up. And so we took it a step further and went into a local club team in the area. And after that, it just started building up, and I got better. So we played for this team called FC Dallas out of East Texas in Longview.
Okay.
And so we went there for a couple of years and came back. And we tried out for FC Dallas, which is located in Frisco, Texas.
Okay.
And so I ended up making a team, and so we made the move, and it didn't really last long due to my sister being a senior in high school, so it was kind of difficult for my mom to be home with her and us to be 3.5 hours away.
I got you. Now, I don't know a lot about soccer, guys. I'm going to admit that. I'm going to ask Peyton about soccer, too. I don't know positions in soccer. I just don't know soccer well. What was your position in soccer?
I used to play forward, which is like the person that plays up the field more.
Okay.
And then as the years went by, they kind of transferred me to be in the midfield.
Okay.
So.
How good of a soccer player was your dad?
He wasn't that good at all.
He wasn't that good at all. He's sitting right here. You got a chance to hear that from you. Okay, that's good. Y'all might have a talk after the show a little bit. No, but I'm kidding. Peyton, what about you and your soccer background?
So I grew up playing soccer my whole life. Started at the rec level and then kind of worked my way up in the club. And then I ended up having to choose between soccer and other sports when I was in 8th grade. So that's when I chose to pursue the other sports, football and baseball.
What was your position in soccer?
I was a center mid.
What does that mean?
So pretty much in the middle of the field. at all times.
All our soccer people will know. I know Marty Kent's laughing at me, and Aeron Burrell's dad, and Peyton's dad. But I really don't know. I like soccer. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know the positions. But so is that a position close to the position he plays?
Yeah. So
Okay.
where he ended up playing is where I played.
I've got a lot in common. We're taping the show, but we want to go ahead and show some highlights of some kicks that Aeron Burrell had that are over 50 yards. And we're going to show those right now. And then when we come back from break, we're going to also show some highlights from Peyton and some of his long kicks. But let's go ahead and talk about it. I don't want to say which one because I don't know which one we're going to put up, Aeron, but talk about the kicks you made during games this year that helped your team. Not just long kicks, but you had a game-winning field goal already this year. Tell me how far that field goal was.
It was a 50-yard game-winning field goal.
Against
Houghton.
Houghton.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think of that 78-71 game against Houghton and Benton?
I don't know. I just don't know what we're going to do. So.
What happened with that? So I'm glad you didn't have to kick in that game. You'd have been tired. But
Yeah.
So the 50-yarder, what are you thinking? How are you thinking when this is coming down? The fans are loud, time's running out. What's going on in your mind?
So it was me and Nolan just sitting on the sideline, and Coach Burrell had came over to me. He was like, "Get ready, we're gonna have to attempt a long one." So I was like, "Okay." So I was just doing some dry kicks by myself, and so I knew that if we got the ball past the 50, then we would have a chance to kick it. So they actually put in our middle linebacker. His name is Burrell,
Yeah.
which he used to play running back in 8th grade in his freshman year. Okay. So we got the ball passed, and so he brought me out on the field. And my first thought was I was just trying to figure out what my celebration was going to be. So
That's how calm you are, huh?
yeah. And so I remember I was lining up, and Nolan was like, "Don't pull it left, don't pull it left." So I was like, "All right, good words of inspiration." And so he just snapped it and kicked it.
Sound like you could go eat a sandwich and get ready for the NFL, man. That kind of attitude, confidence. Just a lot of people mess with you, come by, or they leave you alone.
Oh, no, they miss all the time.
They do?
Yeah.
What's your longest kick this year?
52-yarder.
In practice, I heard it was 60 plus, right?
Yeah.
What was that? 60 what in practice?
64.
I can't. I didn't play kicker, but I've played football. But seeing a 40-yarder is a long ways away. But a 64-yarder looks like 2 subdivisions from where I live. Okay, that's a long ways. But when we come back, we're going to have Peyton talk about his 50-plus yard kicks. These two guys, it's like a rival already, but he's had some big kicks too at Ascension Episcopal. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Lee Burkeen, the host of the Sports Scouting Report. Appreciate everybody joining us today of our podcast. Go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube page. It's the Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. It's our 3rd year. It's our 17th year in TV. Our magazine's 26 years. 1997 started it in my apartment. I tried to kick when I was in high school, guys. I even remember trying to try out. And I remember I had 2 trees in my backyard that looked like a field goal, and I could not make anything over 25 yards. So I said, I don't think I'm going to be the kicker this year for my high school team. So I stuck with just DB, receiver, playing a little option quarterback. We saw Aeron Burrell, his highlights, and talked to him. Peyton, Woodring, Ascension Episcopal, talk about your kicks, and we're going to show some of your long kicks on TV. But tell everybody about your longest kick and some of your games this year.
So junior year, I hit a 56-yarder, which was the school's record. And then this year in our game on Thursday, actually, they put me out for another 56, made it straight down the middle, but they called a flag right before offside. So I had to get that one back. Then we ran a fake field goal, ended up completing it. But other than that, I had a 54 this year.
Man.
So those are my longs this year.
And we're going to be showing those when you see the tape show. You're going to see those highlights of Peyton and also Aeron. What is it like, guys, when you make a hard field goal and then there's a flag? Start with Aeron. It's like, well, I'll just go do it again?
Well, I don't even know if we're going to do it again because
Might go for it or take the first down.
Last game we had went for it because we had attempted a 55-yarder. And so, but it was a fake, but he snapped it, so I had to kick it. But it ended up being a flag. So.
Just go with the flow?
Yeah.
And what about you, Peyton? He's like, oh, I want to kick it again? Or you like,
I was ready to kick it again, but we ended up running the fake, so didn't end up having to kick it.
So I got to ask you guys this. And it's okay. You can be the most normal teenager in the world, and I would do this. Do y'all keep up with all the kickers in the country? Aeron, do you keep up with any, like, guys that you went to camp with and stuff like that?
I mean, I don't text them, but like.
No, just like keep up with how they're doing.
Yeah.
What do you think of the whole kicking world with the camps?
I just feel like it's expanding some more because a lot of kids that haven't gone into Coles or a lot of these different organizations are starting to like showcase their talents, even if they're a sophomore or freshman, even in 8th grade. A lot of kids are just showcasing their talents more and trying to get ranked or just trying to show what they can do to many coaches.
Peyton, what do you think of all the camps and the process? What have you learned?
It's a long process, but if you do it, if you're good enough, it'll be rewarding. But there's a lot of different camps, a lot of different things that you can go to, and I think kicking's becoming a little more popular, just by the demand in the NFL and all these games being won by kicking.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's growing as a specialty.
I got to ask you this because no one ever talks about this. But so y'all play soccer. You ever had any of your soccer teammates go, "Hey man, I'm going to the game"? Like, does your whole soccer team go and say, "Hey, I'm there"? Or are they not? They don't do football. No. They're watching the World Games at home or something. No. I just have to ask that. What do you think? Any of these guys come to the games?
Some of my old soccer friends, they don't come to the game, but they'll keep up with how I'm doing. They'll text me if I hit a big field goal or not.
But you guys know, not if you either play football and soccer, or you don't play football at all, right? It's not like a lot of guys on a soccer team play football.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a lot.
I mean, that's how I do know that. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about these young men, their teams, because I know their teammates would like to be mentioned, their coaches, and what they think of their head coaches. They've got some great coaches. Ascension Episcopal has a new coach this year. You have a coach that's come back and done a good job for Parkway and then Ascension Episcopal with Peyton. But when we come back on, we're going to learn more about the schools. I've seen the teams play several times the last few years, and I've actually seen these kids on film prior to them coming on the show. But we're going to take a break. Be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Welcome back. You're watching the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I'm Lee Burkeen, your host. We have Aeron Burrell from Parkway, who's a class of 224 kicker, one of the top kicker in the country in 224. And in 223, we have one of the top kickers, well, the top kicker in the country again, our guy Peyton Woodring right here from Ascension Episcopal. I want to start with Peyton in the segment about your team. You've got a good team. Ascension Episcopal's always in it. Cade Dardar is your quarterback. He's a good player. Cole Colligan's a big-time player. Badger Hargett, you want to give some shout-out to your punter?
That's my punter. That's my guy. He's really, really good. He's ranked number 5 in the country right now. He's getting some looks for some colleges.
Only number 5, huh?
Yeah, number 5. It's pretty impressive. He's doing really well in games this year.
And Austin Mills is another senior that's really good. Big senior class. What do you think of this senior class at Ascension Episcopal? The Gators, right?
Yep. We're doing pretty well. We kind of started off rough, but we're coming together as a team and winning some games now.
Parkway, big senior class. I don't know if I can get all these guys in, but I'm going to try. and you know all these kids. Jalen White being recruited by Mississippi State, running back / receiver senior. You mentioned Nolan Dean, your punter. Jake Morton, Barrett Newman, Chandler Davis, Chris, is it Meslow? Chris Meslow, DN linebacker, whatever you want to call him. He's a great player for them. B.J. Patterson, Greg Chipman, Michael Collier. Also, some of these guys don't even start that play. Cameron Mayo, who's a young player. Trenton Lappy, who's a LSU baseball commit receiver. Drew Abner, Jatavius Calhoun, the biggest tight end in the state, 6'1", 255. What do you? I mean,
that's a big dude. Right?
And he can run, huh?
Yeah.
Former O lineman. So, what do you think of the special group? Y'all got to. I mean, it's a big school you go to, but I mean, it's a special group.
Well, I mean, it's a good team. Last year we had a couple of players that graduated, so this year we felt like we had to step up if we wanted a chance to either go to state or win a district championship. So we have brought a couple guys in from schools around the area that transferred to our school, and so we just been putting in work, and the results have been the reason why.
And by the way, Parkway is being modest. They have about 10 kids over 280 in the O&D line. Not bad. Barrett Newman, your buddy's over 220 linebacker, big time player. Meslow's probably one of the smaller linemen. He's 230 and can run. Chris Meslow, who and your team. I mean, y'all are in that. You know, when you go 2A or 1A, y'all got some big guys.
Yeah, we got a few.
Some guys that I didn't mention. Peyton, you want to mention anybody else?
We have a safety, Blake Sylvester. It's pretty good, and then we have our O-line's doing really good now. We're getting back healthy.
Okay. What do you think of Nolan Dean, your punter?
He can punt. I'm not even gonna lie, but all credits go out to him for holding my kicks. He's done a pretty good job. He even threw a fake. He even ran a fake, and he threw a touchdown on it last game.
He's got a little bit of an arm on him?
I wouldn't say it was.
No? For that play?
Yeah.
All right, so we can't leave this guy out because we'll get some calls from their moms, and it won't be good. Your long snapper. Who long snaps for you?
So we actually had two of them. And so for punt, it's this guy named Sean Jiggers, who plays baseball as well. And then for extra point and field goal, we have this other guy named Michael Collier.
Not bad to have two guys, and Collier's a receiver. Mm-hmm. What about Peyton, your long snapper?
So our short snapper is Jay Paul. He's a senior. He plays O-line, and then I'm actually the long snapper for punt.
I think we mentioned that the other day. How do you do that? I mean, you're the kicker, and then you go in and long snap for the punt.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. So when was that decided? Way back or this year?
So last year our long snapper got hurt first game, and I was the only one that could really do it. So then I started practicing it, and got somewhat decent at it.
Aeron in Shreveport, in Bossier City. I know y'all are in Bossier. Who are some of the great players in your area that I know Bird has a great kicker. I know that Captain Shreve has a pretty good kicker. But who do you think's pretty good in your area this year?
We have one sitting over there from Evangel, kicker as well. And you got a kicker out of Houghton, Carter Ebar. Even have a couple receivers out of Houghton, like Jalen Lewis and the running back, Dimitri.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, there's a lot of good players in Shreveport. It's just I can't name all of them.
It was crazy. I think Abram Murray's ranked in the top in the country too, from Bird. Captain Shreve got a good player. He's a junior. Got a chance to be good. I'm going to ask Marty Kent in the next show about some of these guys. And look, Lafayette is no slouch either. And there's some good kickers. And I noticed Acadiana's got a pretty good kicker too.
There's some good kickers around. I don't know all of their names, but they got some good kickers for sure.
So what would you like to accomplish, Aeron, for this year for Parkway?
Really, I just want to get a state championship. We haven't got one in a really, really long time. So.
How would you like being the guy deciding the championship ring?
Oh, it'd be nice. I wouldn't try to stress over it. I just go out there and do my job. So.
You drink a little Gatorade before? I mean, what do you do? What's your routine?
I just what I do, I just watch the game, and if I am about to kick, I just go warm up. So.
You had a couple in the net and say I'm ready?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Peyton? How do you do? I know those guys are always practicing in the net.
Yeah. So sometimes I get the opportunity, but sometimes I don't because I play receiver too a little. So if I get the chance, I go kick in the net and I go sit by myself and run up. But if I'm playing receiver, then I just go out and kick.
And then coach is probably like, don't bother him. Leave him alone. Because it's mental, right? Zone it out. Before we go, how do you zone it out? Sound like you got a good.
I just do it. I mean, I can't really explain it.
What about you, Peyton? What's your big thing to zone it
Just
out?
go sit by myself at the other side, put on my helmet, and get ready to kick.
There you go. Guys, shout out. A shout out to anybody, Aeron?
Coach Burrell, shout out to Coach Burrell. Yeah.
Coach Corey Brotherton. And what about you, Peyton?
Just my family for supporting me throughout this whole entire journey in a recruiting process.
So the top kicker, 224, Aeron Burrell, 223, Peyton Woodring, who's committed to Georgia and Athens. I've been to Georgia, beautiful campus. Might see Georgia LSU play a few times. Might see Georgia and Atlanta this year. Might see Georgia and LSU in Atlanta if LSU can beat Alabama. Something that happens. That'd be interesting, huh? Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Again, check us out on YouTube. If you go to Parkway in Bossier City or you go to Ascension Episcopal in Youngsville, watch the show, tell everybody about it. We'll see you really soon.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.